know what is so crazed as to trigger it, but it's there.
Will those members of the Council in favour of the draft resolution 488 please raise their hand?
In a special session last night, the UN Security Council voted to withdraw all but 300 peacekeepers from the Central African country.
I don't think walking away from here is a position that should even be contemplated.
I knew Ramiro wouldn't come back. Ramiro's not the type of person to just drop everything and take off. Anybody in its right mind couldn't have done that. Just to abandon a whole nation? The United Nations abandon a country.
General Dallaire, are you not going to be in harm's way should anything erupt?
Well, I think what we're doing is exactly what we should be doing.
At that point, he did not force any of us to stay. And he called me into his office. I can remember quite clearly. He called me in, he said, you know, you've got a wife at home, you've got a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a brand new baby. He says, if you want to go, I'll understand. I said, no. I said, as long as you stay, I stay.
The small UN force in Rwanda has been doing its best to save lives.
What kept us going? You know, what kept me going? In all that kind of stuff. I guess, couldn't accept that I was going to be defeated. And maybe it's a terrible romantic side. To the last man, God damn it, to the last man, they were not going to get us.
On n'a pas donné le message pour sécurité si vous avez
well, let's
il demande d'aller à côté pour demander tout d'abord.
First thing is you can't imagine how pissed off I am of having to wait outside that gate and be treated just as a goddamn tourist.
I'm no more a king of the hill there. Boy, I was nothing more than some white guy trying to come in and didn't have the authority to do it. It is so perfectly reflective of the organization. It's all there. In a microcosm, it was all there.
You can come in, please.
Okay.
Yeah? I'm very sorry about all this. You know UN.
Ah oui, ça c'est oui. Voilà. You're absolutely right, Frank.
Yeah.
The whole place has changed. Yeah.
Standing there on the road and watching everybody hustle around to that. All I could see was the past. The smell had come back, the vulnerability of my headquarters to attack and so on. I mean, it's as if in many cases it was just yesterday. I was going through all that afterwards I said, well, you know, Dallaire, that's past. Bonjour.
General Dallaire, I presume.
That is correct. I presume.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So much about you.
Well, that's very kind. I'm just coming to see what sort of decorations you put in my office.
Is this your previous office?
Yes.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
I need food, medicine, and material for 2 million people. We're all late. We're already weeks and weeks late. One night, I'm expecting the attack and I hear this sound. The breeze had come through this screen and this sense that it was either a lot of screaming going on from the distance, or there was also this sense as if something had touched me. And it gave me a real whiff of strength. As much as I was negotiating with the devil, I felt that there was a very positive entity that came all of a sudden and gave me just that impetus that I needed to keep moving with the mission with as much vigor that I could. Ah, oui, dans ça tout est construit. Well, he was transferring patients while you
we were
here.
doing it all the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
For the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
time.
yeah. I
That
remember
was one of the big
we were
activities.
moving them by
Sure.
with the escorts.
That's right.
Ah, yeah,
that's
I
right.
remember now.
The first night that I arrived, I literally just came from the airport, and I remember some horrible, horrible scenes there.
Mm.
On one particular day, there were hundreds of casualties, and there were also some difficulties with some of the killing squads and the militias at some of the checkpoints. And General Dallaire himself actually arrived in an APC, and I just remember him getting out and screaming and yelling, and I remember seeing these guys, these Interahamwe, just basically melting away in his presence and in his booming voice. And yeah, General Dallaire.
Water round came in.
He did everything that was humanly possible.
This is where what 6,000, 7,000 people stayed.
Many
in
thousand.
this, yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
And this was for the Tunisians?
Right here, inside this fence. It was just full of people all the time. Hey, cooking and making their little. Yeah, and remember we couldn't get your water and.
Water was a huge problem.
Trying to get
all
that
along
through the
there.
hoses. Remember the hose and pumping? There were hoses all over the floor. They're trying to pump water into here to get you some. Yeah, what a carnage. What a carnage.
There's a lot of failures here in Rwanda, but there are a few examples of individuals who didn't fail as people, as men, as women, and General Dallaire is probably the best example of that. It's been a long time coming, General, you know.
Yes, sir.
It's been a long time coming.
Oh, shit.
His actions and his leadership directly saved thousands of lives.
Yeah. You don't get much solace in that, though. It did. It's so many others that you never got to. In early May, we ran out of food and water, and there was no medical supplies, and we were taking casualties still. And the slaughtering was still ongoing, and I was getting nothing from the world.
This meeting is adjourned.
Could not believe that people would leave us in that much of a scenario of risk and impotency and be able to go home at night. And I must say my loyalty to the UN and to the world was tested beyond belief.
Most people in most of the world was absolutely fascinated by O.J. Simpson's gloves. Couldn't give a tinker's damn about what happened in Rwanda. Didn't really realize it. That it was a blip. It happened. They saw it on television. The effect was that deep. And then the cameras moved on to other things.
I think a couple of times at night I would sit there and go, you know, like, what the heck am I doing here? Especially when, you know, Canada didn't reinforce the mission, the United States didn't reinforce the mission, the UN wasn't reinforcing the mission. We even got a call at one point where they said there's no cavalry over the hill, nobody's coming to get you guys out.
And the sense of isolation that provides just absolutely overwhelms. Because all of a sudden you realize, I'm surrounded. So we got to make our stand here.
The UN compound in Kigali also took a number of direct hits. Canadian UN Commander Major General Romeo Dallaire is pinned down in the capital.
So when the bombardments would happen, everybody would come down the stairs and we would essentially sit here. If we had had a direct hit, I had nothing for the people. I had no medical supplies. And so every bombardment, I saw these visions of all of a sudden around coming in through the door and absolutely obliterating this place. And all it would be a carnage because we had absolutely nothing else. I mean, we're all just cringing here, and it's deathly silence. You could see the fear.